So you want the new Nike Phantom Venoms, but you don't have €250 to spend. What do? Well, you buy one of the takedowns. And today I'm gonna give you a closer look on all the 4 price points on the Nike Phantom Venom, all the way from the top dollar super high-tech Venom Elite, over the Pro to the Academy and finally to the Club, to give you guys an idea about which of the models you should choose and which is also worth spending your money on. But let's kick it off with the top model, the Nike Phantom Venom Elite, which might set you back €250, but which will also give you a host of innovative, awesome technologies. Now, if you've already seen the tech talk, if you haven't, it's right up there in the eye, but if you have, you probably already know what's going on this bad boy. But just to recap, it gives you a full Flyknit upper that's then been coated with a layer of Nike Skin silicone. It has a slightly wax-like honeycomb-looking texture on the toe box. It has these molded polyurethane strike fins to give you a better, cleaner striking surface, and then everything is topped off on the outside with this halfway covering Flyknit lace cover. But tech aside, the good thing about the Phantom Venom is also how it fits, which is primarily down to the genius of flywire and a cleverly sculpted heel counter. Because with flywire, you get these little, I hope you can see them, knitted threads that have been integrated into the Flyknit upper itself. And here some of them are stuck in place, whereas others can actually move freely inside their channels, which means they can move dynamically with your foot, but lock it down at the same time, to optimize your power output and prevent rollover and all that nasty jazz. And when you combine that with a cleverly sculpted heel counter that kind of hugs your foot a little bit more, and this new heel suede-like liner that gives you a bit of comfort, it's a really nice cocktail with tons of lockdown. Nike have of course also integrated ACC on the top model, as is the norm these days, and also still giving you the Nike Grip insole, which is made to ensure that the insole doesn't move around inside the boot and thus losing you vital responsiveness. You of course also get the Hyper-Reactive 2.0 plate, which is made with a mix of Pebax and nylon that's a really soft and a really hard material, giving you a nice, should we say, combination of a flexible forefoot and a stiffer, more responsive midfoot. And weighing in at just 201 grams, this is a pretty good, comfortable, well-performing cocktail that feels pretty amazing. Well, let's take a step down the ladder to the Nike Phantom Venom Pro, where Nike tried to cram as much technology and as many elite vibes into a boot that cost only a little more than half of the high-end model at €130. This, guys, is value for money. But what you get here is a Kangalite forefoot and instep, which means you get this super soft synthetic leather upper that does give you a little bit of the texture from the Elite, but in a more, should we say, smooth and matte execution that doesn't feel as gritty. You also get a textile mesh midfoot and heel, and you get this halfway lace cover and an integrated built-in tongue. But since the lace cover and the tongue are also made of the textile mesh, they're not as stretchy as their Flyknit counterparts, and especially on the tongue, it means that it can be pretty difficult to actually get your foot into the boot. But when it's in, it actually feels pretty darn comfortable. Now Jay, is there ACC on the Pro, you ask? I actually have absolutely no clue. Because the thing is, usually when Nike put ACC on boots, they plaster it all over it, and since they haven't done on the Pro, I guess there isn't. But frankly, I have no idea. But Nike did save a bit of dough, especially on the striking fins that don't really feel as much as fins as they do on the Elite, as they feel like bumps of Kangalite, seeing that they're a lot smaller but also significantly softer than what we see on the Elite. But with that said, they do have a bit of sticky coating on top of it, so you still get a little bit of texture compared to the Elites. What Nike did keep though was the flywire system in some sort of variation though, because while it's not as intricately integrated into the upper itself, that's really difficult to say by the way, you still get these little threads on the outside of the boot and bigger, thicker lace loops on the inside to still give you some sort of solid, effective lockdown. Again, it's not as sophisticated, but it works. Outsole-wise on the Pro, you actually still get the Hyper-Reactive 2.0 plate, but without the Nike Grip insole. But costing again 130 euros, weighing a full gram less at 200 grams, this is a whole lot of value for money. And okay, the Venom Pro might not be as impressively good as the Vapor 12 Pro or the Legend 7 Pro for that matter, but you still get a whole lot of bang for your buck. Next step down the ladder price and quality-wise, and we arrive at the Academy. Now this bad boy is only 80 euros, and okay, it also obviously shows, but you still get a Nike Skin full foot and instep, just like the Kanga Light instep on the Pro here. But it's not the Nike Skin in the sense of the silicone coating that covers the Flyknit on the Venom Elite. No, it's the Nike Skin in the sense of the upper package, where you get a mesh base, should we say skeleton, that's then coated with a plastic film. Just like we know it, by the way, from the Hyper Venom 1 back in the days. Obviously this is a little thicker, but once this softens up, I actually reckon it's pretty good value for money for the price. Just like on the Pro though, the midfoot and the heel part of the Academy is made with a textile mesh. But unlike on the Pro, it's not as, I would say, delicate, and while it's pretty soft, it's not as stretchy, so the whole package doesn't feel as premium. And also looking at the strike fins here, it mainly feels like just little bumps with black paint on it. There's a little bit of a grippy texture to it, but that's about it. But what you do get on the Academy is these here thicker lace loops. I don't know if you can see them, maybe you can, sitting on the inside of the tongue that we also know from the inside of the Pro. At least to give you a taste of that adaptive locked-in fit. And while it might not be as good, for 80 euros, in my book, that's actually a pretty big plus. But looking at the outsole game on the Academy, the downgrade becomes pretty obvious. I mean, Nike had to save money somewhere, and this is one of those places. What you get here is a TPU outsole, which is a little bit thicker and also slightly heavier than on the more expensive models. But it's also relatively soft, which means it's pretty flexible, and some people might like that, but it also means that you lose out on some of the support and stability and especially responsiveness because the plate simply is so soft. What's good about it though is that you get more or less the same stock configuration as on the more expensive models, so that is pretty good. And all in all, it's a solid, rather comfortable boot. But honestly, if you can find the extra 50 euros to upgrade to the Pro, it's really worth the money though. And finally, if you still use kit sizes and really want the design of the Venom, you can pick up the Phantom Venom Club for 45 euros. And that's a pretty low price, but you can kinda also tell because this is basically just a full mesh textile upper with the Phantom Venom graphics painted on. I mean, there's nothing here, it's just smooth. And okay, it's relatively soft, you get a pretty nice neoprene tongue, and of course the same Venom stud configuration. But honestly, if it was me, I wouldn't bother. Unless your feet are growing all the time and you need new boots in half a year. In which case, it's a decent option, but get some of the others. So there you have them, my friends. Venom all the way from 240 euros to 45 euros, proving that no matter how big your wallets are, well, everyone can join the Venom party. Okay, I might have hoped that especially the Pro version would have been a little higher quality, but still for the price, it's a pretty solid option if you can't afford the Elites, which in my opinion is utterly fantastic. But which version are you gonna go with? As always, you should let me know in the comment section right down below, and then maybe go and buy one of your own Phantom Venoms by clicking the link to our store right over there. Also guys, don't forget to go subscribe to our channel and click the bell notification button to get a little notification on your phone every time we upload a video. And finally, if you haven't seen it already, go check out my review of the Phantom Venom Elite right down there. With that said, I'm signing off. Cheerio.